this video we're making two different designs for top drilled crystal points. On the left we've got a spiral wraparound design and the right hand one is the crisscross X design. Our crystal points have the hole drilled towards one end and they're about 3.5 centimeters by 1 centimeter across. We're going to start with a spiral design. So for this one here we need about 14 inches of the 20 gauge dead soft silver wire. So I just measure and cut that to length. And the first thing we do is make our bail. Just leaving a little bit straight at the end there, we just start by bending our wire and bringing it around the round nose pliers. Bringing it around 2 full loops to make a nice strong bail there. Then we can bring this straight little piece of wire around the other wire and crimping it down nice and tight to secure that bail in place. Now we can check our little bail loops and make sure they're nice and round. Then we can pop our crystal onto the wire, bringing it up near the bail, and we're going to just leave a little space there where we can bend the bail up so it sits over the center of the drilled crystal. Then we can bring the other side of the wire up and over as well so that they meet up at the top. Now we bring this wire around the bottom of the bail nice and tight and just gently keep on wrapping around. I'm holding it all quite firmly in place, and as I'm twisting, I'm gently feeding the wire onto the spiral there so that the wire sits next to the previous piece and it just slowly works its way down the crystal point. Nice and tight, and just working your way down until you're happy with how far you've covered. Obviously you'll be limited by how much wire you've got, but I like to go right down to almost where the drilled holes are. And after I come around a corner, so I'm pulling it all really nice and tight, but then after a corner I can bring the wire upwards. So it sort of gives the wire something to hang on to. So just gently there holding it on with pressure. Then I'm going to bring the wire upwards. And then I can bring it around the bottom of the bail as well. Wrapping it around a couple of times. Then we can cut that little tail off and crimp it in nice and tight to secure it all in place. You can check all your wires and your bails and everything sitting how you like it, and nice and tight and symmetrical. So that's our first wire wrap there with the wrap around the top design. This second one here is another really simple design with a crisscross over the front. For this one here we need about 10 inches of our 20 gauge dead soft silver wire. Again we're going to start by making the bail. So I just start by leaving that little tail straight at the end and gently bringing the wire around our round nose pliers, 2 full loops. And then bringing this little tail around the other piece of wire. Crimping it down nice and tight to secure that bail in place. Then you can check your loops as well for your bail, make sure they're nice and round and that you're happy with them, and then you should have a nice strong bail. Now we're going to pop our crystal onto the wire and just bring it up near the bail. Again we're going to leave a little space in between the bail and the crystal so that we can bend the wire upwards, and the bail will sit directly over the center of the crystal there. For this design here we bring the other wire in a downwards direction. So just holding the bail and the wire secure in my left hand, I'm going to bring this downwards wire around the whole crystal, 2 full loops around, sort of in a diagonal downwards direction 2 full loops. Then I can just organise my wires and make sure they're sitting sort of evenly apart. They should be coming at a diagonal angle on the front, and at the back they should be just going straight across. Then we're going to bring the wire upwards in the diagonal direction around 2 loops, so it crosses over each of the first wires to make an X on each one across the front there, so they'll be diagonal on the front and across straight at the back as well. Once I've done my 2 wraps around the crystal and I've got my 2 X's on the front there, I just bring my wire over to this opposite side and then bend it upwards so that it can meet up with that other wire that makes the bail there. And then I can bring it around the bottom of the bail there a few times and cut the tail off and crimp it in nice and tight. Your crystal should be nice and secure at this point, and you can work with your wires a little bit just to make sure that it's sitting nicely and it's all symmetrical. Check that your bail's nice and round as well. And there's your crisscross design, top drilled crystal. Both are really nice simple designs for any crystal that has a hole drilled near the top.